Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm bringing back my Disney movie marathon. Yes, again, even though technically it wasn't all that long ago, just ended my previous one. So we're right back again. Just had to take a short break to talk about other type of stuff. I still have a lot of other stuff to talk about. I mean, plenty, but I guess I'll get to it when I get to it, I suppose. And I still have a lot of stuff to talk about with Disney as well. Yes, this is again going to be church related because, of course, there's going to be something about some show, of course, somewhat recent. Yes, it's from the plugged in TV show Focus on the Family, Softies as we call them. And yeah, they speak about the Lord of the Rings from Amazon Prime streaming service and HBO's House of Dragon, blah, 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 blah. But the primary thing I want to talk about here is their segment on the Disney's superhero, superheroine comic book inspired TV series, and this right here. I guess it was popular enough that there's apparently going to be a TV season two, I believe. I myself never watched it, but that's kind of besides the point in some ways. Because for one, superhero stuff was never really my thing. But oh my god, this podcast they have here. It was okay, first of all, it was stupidly long. It was it was a little over 30 minutes, about 33 minutes and some seconds. So honestly, I don't want to cover the entire thing. I'll give it like a brief overview because ultimately the superhero thing they talked about in roughly the last 9 minutes ish, well almost 10 minutes and whatnot. So that's a portion I want to talk about. I'm not going to cover the entire thing because it's just going to go on forever. But basically, what these individuals talk about when it comes to Lord of the Rings is that they confess that their favorite genre is fantasy, which in itself is fine. I got nothing against someone having a preferred genre. I mean, for example, I like horror. I mean, I like other genres, of course, like detective stuff, like the film noir, maybe kung fu, sci-fi. I can explore all this stuff, of course, but my primary favorite genre would be horror, of course, even though I've talked about all the genres as well. But that aside, I still think they're full of shit, honestly, because oh my god, their perspective on life itself is so simplistic. It's overly simplistic, which in itself is a logical fallacy, by the way, because it's a black and white thinking. One, but basically, like I said, I'm trying to get an overview to talk about the Lord of the Rings, of course, quite extensively, really, and because I know technically yes, the Lord of the Rings is about just like just like just like we have a Star Trek or Star Wars at its core, yes, it is about good and evil. I mean, yes, that's what it's about. But I mean, at its core, yes, but ultimately, it's goofy. It's so silly. It comes off unintentionally funny to me. These are grown men and women, okay, mind you. These aren't some little kids, okay. Keep that in mind. Their perspective is so incredibly simplistic. It's just good and evil. That's it. That's how they view the world, good and evil. If it's in itself, that's not. Those are shades of gray. Okay, those are nuance. Of course, you can and whatnot. And they talk. And one of these individuals confessed that they don't want a certain storyline from. I mean, I guess fantasy. I guess. And they don't want to get too violent, and they did complain about the Lord getting a little too violent here and there. Which in itself is idiotic when you think about it. But I know what they're referring to. They're referring to the fact that it could be in each storyline. It could just, I mean, they're talking about fantasy, but their complaint can be for any story. When you think about it, because they don't want, basically, don't get too real. They want it to get to, they don't want to face reality. They really do not want to face reality. They just want to look at reality itself through that simplistic, super simple perspective, through like really goody two shoes. Uh, I guess you could say lens. In other words, I suppose. I mean, I could go on, but that's basically what they're talking about. That. I mean, I know I'm so. I'm not. It sounds like I'm just giving like a a generalization of what they're talking about, but that's basically what I'm get at. And it's not as deep as they want to make it to be. One, and of course, they're gonna throw religion into this, of course, which just makes this entire thing idiotic. Because isn't it real life itself is not that simple? But you, these Christians who are acting as if you either believe in God or you're a bastard, and not just believing in any God. It has to be their God, their version of God, because we all know those many denominations of Christianity. Because for one, there's the Catholics, even the probably Catholics probably the most well known one, but even that has its own subsets as well. There's Roman Catholic, or the Irish Catholic, and whatnot. There's even the Jehovah's Witnesses, of course, and those Roman Pentagods, I believe. If I'm saying that correctly, excuse me if I'm butchering that. But then there's the, of course, Christian nationalists, of course. Then there's on top of that the conservative conservative Christians. There's so many of these folks. And excuse me if I'm glancing over quite a bit myself, but I just want to get to the point here. This video is only gonna be lengthy as it is, like these types of videos I tend to do. So, all right, but there's like so many versions of the Bible, which is confusing. If you believe that your version is the Bible, then why doesn't Jesus come down and correct everything? And just instead of pointing the fingers, I love these religious people who actually scream false prophet to each other. Because when you think about it, the Jehovah's Witnesses do not like the Catholics, and the Catholics do not like the Jehovah's Witnesses. So on and so forth. I love these religious people. We be fighting each other. No, you're the false one. No, you're false. No, you're fake. No, you're fake. Yada yada yada. I mean, I really don't want to get into that really, but still, I'm just throwing out. I'm just throwing out how this entire thing seems really insane when you think about it. But if you don't agree with them, somehow it means you're against the family, and that's the like another primary thing that gets brought up quite often with these people, including this podcast as well. Think of the family. Think of the family. Somebody protect the kids. Help the kids. The kids, the kids, the kids, the kids, kids. Protect the kids. From what? I don't know, really. This makes my head hurt. If you disagree with A, then you disagree with B, and C, then E, the rest of the alphabet. Then you must hate me, and yada yada. This is so ridiculous. It's so absurd. I mean, they don't explain why. I mean, they do, but it's terrible. At the end of the day, it doesn't really make sense. Therefore, it's not a good, valid reason, really. All right. And let's get to the damn point. Like I said, I know I'm kind of glancing over a lot of stuff, but at its core, that's what these individuals are talking about. Really, you must be against family. You realize you don't necessarily have to be religious to be a good person. You can be an atheist and be a good person. That is possible. Anyway, like I said, okay, I kind of feel like I'm dragging this already. So let's just get to the superheroes, comic book inspired heroine, whatever you call this. This wow.
Well, for our second segment this week, Kennedy, you have reviewed a new show called Hamster and Gretel. And is this just Phineas and Ferb Reloaded? Because it's by the same guy who created Phineas and Ferb and kind of looks like it. Or is there something more going on here? What do we need to know?
No, so in Hamster and Gretel, it's about this girl and her hamster named Hamster.
Okay.
And
kind of like
girl,
Perry the Platypus.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. No, so Gretel and her hamster, they're given superpowers by this alien UFO that appears, and it just tells them, hey, use these for good, and then it takes off.
Greetings, Earth creatures! The two of you have been chosen.
Chosen for what?
Chosen to be...
Okay, again, I didn't see the show at all, but it feels like you're skimming on some detail. Like, literally, that's it. That's it. And this runs off and lets the character do whatever she's told or is expected to do. Okay. I mean, that's it. That's literally it. I'm also asking because a lot of you people tend to skim a lot of details, which you often don't, quite honestly. Oh boy.
We will now bestow upon you powers unimaginable!
Ooh, like the power to fly?
Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna start bestowing now before you guess them all.
Now, unfortunately, her older brother, Kevin, is there as well, and they don't give him any superpowers. So instead, he's kind of back at transporting his little sister around and kind of being the brains of the operation as she fights all of these wacky villains.
Oh my god. It just feels like you're skimping a lot of detail again. Oh boy, just the way you're talking here, it really feels like you really don't know how the real world works at all. You can just tell without even actually meeting you. Oh, anyway, Christ.
So, I mean, if you're trying to compare it to Phineas and Ferb, you'll see a lot of the animation style and a lot of the humor is very similar.
Okay.
But if Phineas and Ferb was more focused on like these inventions that these two boys make, this is more focused on the Perry the Platypus kind of side of things.
Okay. If the same production team or the same team as the previous two TV shows you just got to mention, if the artwork looks the same and whatnot, of course it come out similar. I don't see what that has to do with this, story-wise, but okay.
It's crime fighting and superheroes, and it's fun.
Okay. Anything so far that raises small or big red flags for you that parents would want to be aware of?
The only thing I could think of would possibly be the slapstick violence.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a pretty fun show.
Okay.
What? So you're trying to say the fact that it has physical comedy is somehow a bad thing? You realize this is like a superhero comedy thing, so that's going to happen. I mean, I know not all comedy is the same. There's like different variants of that. I get it, but still.
Well, thanks for telling us about Hamster and Gretel. And I know with so many options these days, it's good to have an occasional show that you can say, well, at least as far as we can tell, this is one that you can probably enjoy as a family. So.
Oh my God, y'all got the personalities of a wet towel. Because everything, literally everything, literally everything, every fashion everything of your life has to center around family. Family this, family that. That's so weird. That is so weird. Why does literally everything about your life have to center around family? That is so unhealthy when you think about it, but okay.
So, thanks, Kennedy.
Of course.
Well, each week on the Plugged In Show, we like to do a little thing we call Pop Culture Connection, and our producer, Ashley. Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Adam.
She comes in with questions related to pop culture that give us an opportunity to put our pop culture brains on display as quickly as possible. So the goal of the game is to give as many answers as possible to Ashley's question in 30 seconds so that somebody can have bragging rights for the week. And the rest of us can, have sackcloth ashes or something like that. So anyway, I digress. Ashley, over to you. I've always wanted to say that. Over to you, Ashley.
Nice, thank you. Kennedy, let's have you go first. All right. Well, let's see what your question is here. Do you prefer a predictable movie or a plot twister, and why?
Typically, I prefer a plot twister, and the reason why is because, it subverts your expectations. However, I think recently I'm more in favor of the predictable movie. And that reason is because a lot of these plot twisting movies, they're doing it for the sake of twisting the plot rather than because it's a
good plot twist. And that really annoys me. It's not original. It's not fun. I think about The Last Jedi, where it just kept twisting it back and forth, and by the end I was just really annoyed. It's just like, I have no idea where this is going, and it's not fun.
Okay,
Very
he
good.
wins. Just for bringing up Last Jedi as a negative example. You win.
Nice, I scored 4.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good job.
They were solid points there. I got my heart out
They
there.
were jersey points. That's good. All right, Emily. Let's see what yours is here. This is one that Kennedy has had before.
All right.
Who do you think is the best actor of all time, and why? I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness. This is terrible. Do I really have to answer this? Ugh. All right. Oh, my goodness.
Do you want me to help
No. Meryl Streep. She can play anything. She has played, she was in Mamma Mia. She was in, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. Into the Woods. That's what I was thinking of. She was, yeah, I'm sorry. That's terrible.
No, but Meryl Streep's a really excellent answer.
Really
Solid.
There's a quote from a TV show where the guy just goes, Meryl Streep could play Batman and be the right choice.
That would be interesting.
I don't think that he was correct, but he was defending her position in The Devil Wears Prada.
I'd watch that
Good thing
Batman.
Paul's not
I would
here.
watch that Batman too, Jonathan.
I totally would watch that.
Absolutely.
So I counted 4 points in 10
Yeah.
seconds. So that's
Yeah.
really good.
Right, so if you
That was
extrapolate that, you would have had 12 if you'd have had Meryl
I
Streep from the
know,
get-go.
right?
Unfortunately, the game doesn't work that way.
That's right. That's right.
We can't count goals not scored.
All right, Jonathan,
Yep.
you are up.
And your question is, which do you prefer, Mac or PC, and why?
absolutely mad because it doesn't break like the PCs all the time. It can find my printer a lot better. It's got that cool little glowing apple. It's silver instead of black. It actually plays well with others. It connects with my iPhone super well. It's reliable whenever I take it on the road with me. It lasts about 10 years longer than the PC. It is, all the parts work together a lot better than the PCs. It has one...
Oh, Jonathan, you're so deceived, but great answers.
Can I request that question in a future podcast? Because I'm one of those rare people who is actually split between the two based on what I need it for.
Wow.
So, yeah, I could give some really good answers to that.
Those were great answers, though, and I'm pretty sure I'm not... It was the only dating show I have ever watched every episode of.
Nice, nice. Well, I got three
points
for that one.
But I had to explain what the show was.
Of course, and thank you for doing that.
Qualitative. I felt good about my answer.
I now want to watch the show,
Kennedy.
so I mean, you did a good job.
Exactly.
There.
Joe Millionaire.
All right, so Jonathan, you are our winner today. Congratulations.
It was well earned.
Yes, it was. You did excellent promoting.
I think Kennedy
Apple.
was the winner.
No,
quality,
Jonathan.
Quality.
No, we're just gonna. We're not handing out participation trophies today, Jonathan. You are the winner. Good job.
This is, of course, a little game that I guess they played in the podcast before, but I don't care. What is so funny? Seriously, what is so funny here? I don't get it. We just, yeah, I guess the only joke here is those sex lives, I guess. But anyway, I thought we were supposed to be talking about that one show, a superhero show, which was just brought up real brief, like really, really brief and whatnot. But okay, I don't get it. You didn't talk about the story, not really. You didn't talk about the characters, not really. So I don't understand what's the point of trying to build up to this specific point in your podcast if you don't really do anything like at all. It's weird. It is so odd. Not in a good way either. I don't get it at all. Like, all right. I don't understand any of this. I really don't. But can we just wrap this up? Like I said, this felt like it shouldn't be all that long to begin with, like at all. It's felt dragged out.
The rest of us, pity vote. The rest of us just need to try harder and be faster.
Yeah, be faster. See, that's the problem. It's like I always come into this and I'm like,
You had 10 really good seconds, though, and I think that's not nothing.
I feel like it's like it takes my brain like that first 50 seconds just to process the question.
Yeah. Well, I hope you've had fun listening to us here at the Plugged In Show today. We like to think deeply. Obviously, we got our nerd on a little bit talking about Lord of the Rings, and hopefully we gave you some content that you can really think about in terms of your own choices and your family's choices. And if you enjoyed the show, tell your friends about us. Word of mouth is the best way.
No, I don't think I will. I'm not gonna tell anybody to go to your podcast and listen to it. That's totally up to everybody. I'm not gonna let anybody know and just go ahead and watch your programs or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I only will go to your stuff, if anything, just to criticize you. Like, there's not one good podcast none of you guys ever made. There's not one good YouTube video you never made. You never made good anything. This is a bunch of slog. Like, all your content is really bad. Like, you always got to censor around family and whatnot. Even your text reviews that you guys do, even that's bad. Like, really bad. I know that's kind of lazy, just type it up or whatever, I guess. Anyway. But, okay. If I wanted to read something, I'll read a book. Still going to be better than whatever slug you guys will produce. But whatever, guest. Or whatever, guest. Whatever. Anyway, it's still kind of weird that you just want to center around family and nothing more. Okay.
Get the Plugged In Show out there, and you can also leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or on whatever podcast player you use. We would also love to hear from you. Have you watched the first episode or second episode of the Lord of the Rings show? What did you think? You can connect with us on Facebook or Instagram, or just send us an email at team@thepluggedinshow.com. And if you want to learn more, be sure to check out our full reviews for each of these new shows at pluggedin.com.
All right, then. So, okay. I'm still not gonna go to your thing whatsoever. Only when I feel like, yes. And like the whole Disney thing, that's kind of why I just want to talk about you guys' stuff, really. And that's like the primary thing I want to talk about when it comes to Disney from your podcasts or your YouTube videos or text reviews or whatever. That's like the only reason I go to you guys really to talk about Disney because a lot of all of your takes on Disney is bad. Whether it's the TV shows, movies, or whatever, or Disney Plus, all of your takes are bad. Literally every single take that you've done is bad. They're all bad. Literally every single one of takes that you have done, they're all horrendously bad to various degrees. Okay, can you put more effort? At this point, it's just I don't know why you keep doing it. This entire thing's just really awful. Anyway, okay, I guess that'll be it, folks. That'll be it. So that was just terrible. I thought I expected any of this to be good anyway. So there's that, I reckon. Anyway, folks, as always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, I suppose. Just wow, that was just okay. This is so bad. It was so bad. As always, thanks for watching. Blah blah blah. Later, I guess. I need a break from this shit. Ugh.